Alright, I'm here with Scientist Todd Lusk.
Hello.
And I was just telling about how when I was a couple years ago, started selling oxygen out of a can. Wasn't exactly an easy sell, but it made sense as far as lactic acid buildup and being able to push farther. And I was, saying how I'd like to get a fucking tank and huff off that shit. And you want to hear the reason why? You want to hear how to get your oxygen levels up? Ask this man. He will let you know.
Okay. So the whole idea behind getting the oxygen up is because that's going to alkalize your blood. So when you are doing endurance style training, if you're cycling or you're running or you're just lifting heavy for a long set, the lactic acid is going to build up in your blood and your pH is going to drop. You're going to start huffing to get that oxygen in order to raise your pH, right? So it all comes down to the acid balance. That's the metabolism behind the heavy breathing. So if you want to pre-oxygenate your blood, you're raising the pH before your sets. Take a nice deep belly breath for about a count of 5, hold a little bit, exhale for a count of 5, maybe even 3, a little bit longer inhale than you do exhale, and you're going to flood your blood with oxygen, and that's going to counteract the acid buildup for a longer duration.
And you mean the lactic acid that you build up, that burning that we're always talking about when it comes to...
Yeah, that's going to be lactic. So that's the lactic acid. When you start crossing over a threshold from, well, I'll get really fancy. When you get
Here we go.
out of your ATP creatine phosphate metabolism.
Write this down.
You're going to cross over towards into the glycolytic pathway. A carryover into there is a lactate synthesis. Lactate is going to be produced to give your mitochondria energy to keep fueling the muscles. That's what your muscles need to contract at a cellular level, right? So the metabolite of the lactate synthesis and conversion to glucose for energy that's the lactic acid, right? So it's not the lactate. It's those damn protons. It's the little hydrogen guys. That's what gives you the acid load. So it's the conversion of the lactate into the lactic acid. Lactate threshold training, or lactic acid threshold training, is working right up to the point where that's really starting to convert, where there's a balance. And you can actually increase that by increasing the length of the endurance sets or the endurance intervals in cycling and running and things like that. Right up to the threshold and then backing off. That's your interval training. It takes some finesse to find that level before the burn starts to happen and then move on.
And that's what causes the heavy breathing, you're saying? And
that's right. The heavy breathing is accumulation of oxygen to counteract balance that accumulation of acid. That's the deal.
There you go. I hope you mother truckers wrote that shit down. You can't get any more scientific than that.
That's right.
Todd Lusk, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Manimal.
Science Fit. Science Fit 24/7.
24/7.